Retirement planning often feels like something that can wait. It looks far away, so current needs and expenses take priority. Years pass with the assumption that there is still plenty of time. But when planning starts late, the pressure becomes heavier. The amount needed is larger, the time to build it is shorter, and financial flexibility reduces. What felt like a distant responsibility slowly turns into a rushed and difficult goal. Number 10. Delaying retirement planning often happens because the future feels abstract. Daily expenses are clear and immediate, while retirement exists only as an idea. Because it doesn't demand attention now, it keeps getting postponed. Each delay seems harmless, but time quietly reduces the advantage of starting early. When planning begins late, saving has to work harder. Smaller contributions over many years get replaced by larger amounts over a shorter period. This creates pressure on the bank balance and limits flexibility. Adjustments that could have been gradual now feel sudden. Over time, the late start also affects choices. More income must be directed toward catching up, leaving less room for other goals. What could have grown slowly with patience turns into a race against time. Number 9. Starting late reduces the power of consistency. When contributions begin early, even small amounts get repeated over many years, creating steady growth. But when planning is postponed, that long stretch disappears. The person has fewer opportunities to build momentum, and progress depends on bigger, more demanding steps. This change often affects financial comfort. Larger allocations toward retirement may compete with current responsibilities. Balancing present needs with future security becomes harder because both demand attention at the same time. The situation feels tighter, even if income improves. Another challenge is limited room for correction. Early planning allows mistakes to be adjusted gradually. A late start leaves less space to recover from market changes, unexpected expenses, or income shifts. The timeline becomes less forgiving, making each decision more critical. Number 8. Postponing retirement planning often leads to underestimating future needs. When the timeline feels long, it is easy to assume that expenses will somehow be manageable later. Inflation, healthcare costs, and lifestyle expectations don't feel urgent today, so they rarely influence current decisions. As years pass, these factors grow quietly. By the time attention shifts to retirement, the required amount appears much larger than expected. This sudden realization creates pressure to accelerate saving, which can strain monthly finances. There is also less flexibility to adapt. With fewer working years remaining, choices about risk, investment horizon, and contribution levels become more limited. The person has to rely on tighter planning instead of gradual growth, making the journey more demanding. Number 7. A late start often means relying more heavily on future income increases. Many people assume they will earn more later and then save comfortably. While income may grow, responsibilities usually grow with it. Housing costs, family needs, and lifestyle adjustments absorb a large portion of that increase. Because of this, the expected space for retirement saving does not always appear. The plan to save later keeps shifting as new priorities take over. By the time saving finally becomes urgent, there's less freedom to redirect money without making noticeable sacrifices. This dependence on future income also adds uncertainty. Career changes, health issues, or economic conditions can affect earnings. Without earlier preparation, these uncertainties make retirement planning feel less stable and more difficult to execute.
Number 6. Delaying retirement planning often reduces the benefit of compounding. When investments are given more years, growth has time to build on itself. But when the start is pushed forward, that layered growth doesn't get enough time to develop. The outcome depends more on how much is invested rather than how long it grows. This shift makes the process heavier. Instead of gradual accumulation, the focus moves to allocating larger amounts. That can feel restrictive because it competes with other priorities. Even disciplined saving may appear slow without the extra years working in the background. Another effect is reduced patience with market fluctuations. With limited time, short-term ups and downs feel more significant. Decisions become cautious, which may further limit potential growth.
Number 5. Postponing retirement planning often creates a false sense of security. As long as income is steady, it feels like there's no immediate risk. The present looks stable, so the future doesn't demand urgent action. This comfort makes it easy to assume that things will naturally fall into place. However, stability today doesn't automatically translate to preparedness later. Without deliberate steps, there's no dedicated pool building for the years after work. When this realization comes closer to retirement age, the gap between expectation and reality becomes clearer. At that stage, choices may feel limited. Instead of planning calmly, the focus shifts to quick adjustments. The absence of early preparation turns what could have been a gradual journey into a more demanding transition. Number 4. Delaying retirement planning also limits the ability to take balanced risks. With a longer timeline, investments can be spread across options that may fluctuate but have growth potential. When the start happens later, there is less comfort in choosing such paths because there isn't enough time to recover from downturns. This often leads to safer but slower growing choices. While they provide stability, they may not generate enough growth to meet future needs comfortably. The person ends up depending more on contributions rather than growth, which can tighten monthly finances. Over time, this cautious approach narrows possibilities. Instead of benefiting from both time and growth, the plan relies mainly on discipline alone, making the journey toward retirement security more demanding. Number 3. When retirement planning starts late, other financial goals begin overlapping. Saving for emergencies, family needs, or lifestyle improvements may still be ongoing. Adding retirement contributions on top of these creates competition for the same income. This overlap makes prioritization difficult. Money that could have been comfortably divided earlier now has to be stretched. Even with careful budgeting, progress in one area may slow down another. The overall financial picture starts feeling crowded. The pressure also affects decision-making. Instead of focusing steadily on one objective at a time, attention gets split. This reduces clarity and can delay progress further, making retirement preparation feel more complicated than it needed to be. Number 2. Starting retirement planning late often removes the comfort of gradual adjustment. When saving begins early, contributions can increase slowly as income grows. But with less time remaining, there isn't enough space to build up step by step. The jump in saving needs to be quicker and more noticeable. This sudden shift can feel restrictive. A larger portion of income must be set aside at once, leaving less flexibility for current lifestyle choices. Even small, unexpected expenses can disrupt the plan because there's little buffer. Without gradual buildup, consistency becomes harder to maintain. The effort required feels heavier, and maintaining discipline over a shorter timeline demands more control and careful financial planning. Number 1. Planning retirement too late also affects peace of mind. When there is enough time, progress feels steady and manageable. But with a shorter horizon, every year starts to feel important. The focus shifts from long-term comfort to catching up quickly. This urgency can create mental pressure. Financial decisions begin to carry more weight, and uncertainty about the future becomes harder to ignore. Even stable earnings may not fully remove that concern because the timeline is limited. Starting earlier allows the journey to unfold calmly. A delayed approach, on the other hand, turns retirement preparation into a tighter schedule, where confidence depends on making fewer mistakes. Bonus tip: Even a small early step can change the entire timeline. Setting aside a modest amount creates a starting point and builds awareness. Once the habit exists, increasing contributions later becomes easier. Waiting for the perfect time usually delays action. Starting with something simple allows progress to begin without major adjustments. Over time, consistency matters more than the size of the first step. Are you already planning for retirement or still waiting for the right time? Let me know in the comments.